Hey everybody, welcome to
Table!
What happened? On this episode, we're drinking the Air Fredriksen's Weselbrunch from two Denmark breweries, Amer and Mikkeller breweries. The original Mikkeller Beer Geek Brunch Weasel was brewed with coffees made from the droppings of the weasel-like civet cat. This blend provides a very balanced and harmonious full-bodied beer, and after maturing, it's stored in a cold cellar for almost a year.
Cheers! This could be bad.
I know. This is good.
Yeah, good thing we have this amazing oatmeal stout.
That is with oatmeal and coffee mixed together, that is a delicious brunch right there.
That's a winner. Thank God this is my 8th coffee of the day.
I know, yeah. You gotta keep caffeinated. You gotta keep the power rolling.
Coffee.
I was doing it again? We better get into this game quick.
I think it's out.
Yeah, that's a little too long.
I think you need to go fix it.
Okay, we tried coal. What should we try next?
I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
What would be the next one?
We got barrels of oil, right?
Oh yeah, we can use oil. That'll work. Let's just do that.
I think that's the wrong kind of oil.
Let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? I'll be right back.
Oh,
See, that worked. No problem.
Thank God. Thank God. You went the mile I wasn't willing to go.
Yeah, sometimes you need to just take one for the team. So today we're playing Power Grid by Rio Grande Games.
Yeah, so Friedman Freeze, in case you don't know, all of his games feature the color green very predominantly. And also all start with the letter F.
Power Grid.
In some European language, it starts with F.
Fair enough.
But in American, it's Power Grid. Power Grid is a game for 2 to 6 players. The box says it goes in about 2 hours. I tend to agree with that. If you're learning the game, it definitely take a little bit longer. But the game is built in such a way where it's pretty quick in between turns. There are a decent number of things happening here. This is a heavier game. Think of it like stock market economy game where you are trying to run the most efficient power grid. In Power Grid, you're going to want to obviously purchase power plants for your power grid. And that's the first thing that you're going to do every round is you're going to bid on different power plants. So based on player order, you will be able to bid on any power plants in the first row of the auction house. You must bid at least the minimum bid listed on the card. So in this case, this one has to be at least 24. But you can say 24. You can go around the table, and everyone else keeps bidding, right? Until somebody gets it.
Right.
Now here's the caveat. If you happen to not win that, you get to go again.
Right. But as soon as you buy one power plant, you can't bid on any more that turn, right?
Right, you're out for the round.
Yeah.
But what you could end up doing is you could end up with the only one there, and you can get it for the face value.
Right.
Which is a bargain.
Quite the bargain.
A bargain.
Yeah. Saving on your power bills.
You notice that each power plant has a different cost to run it. For instance, number 24 here costs 2 garbage, and it makes a total of 4 electricity.
Yeah, so it can power 4 different homes.
Now, Chris, how would a garbage power plant work?
I think it's like a big Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future.
Okay.
Yeah, you just dump that stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, this toxic fumes look like it's fine, right?
I'm sure it's good for the environment.
To power our power plants, we're going to have to purchase resources. We're going to do that in reverse player order. Yeah. You'll purchase resources from the market.
Yeah. And you'll be purchasing things such as coal, oil, trash, and what is this, plutonium?
Yeah, uranium.
Yeah.
And you'll see they have a varying cost. So as they become more and more scarce, they become more and more expensive.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, so you got to watch out. And you might end up purchasing more than you need just to safeguard yourself.
Yeah.
Next round there might not be any coal left.
Right.
Each power plant can store up to twice of the resources it needs. So continuing on our example here, this power plant could hold 4 garbage.
Yep.
After you purchase your resources, you bought your power plants. Now we got to have some cities to power.
Yep.
Right? Because what's worth having a power plant if we don't have any people to charge to use them?
Exactly.
What we're going to do is we're going to be purchasing cities on the board. To purchase a city, you will connect to another city in one of your grids. There will likely be a connecting cost located on these power lines here.
Yep.
So in this case, to go from Seattle to Billings, you have to pay a 9 cost.
Right.
You also pay whatever the cost is for the city. When the game first starts, only 1 space in each city is available, but as the game goes on, the second and third spots will unlock, and you'll pay the cost accordingly.
They're more expensive, so if I wanted to go into Cheyenne after Steven, it would cost me 5 more monies.
At the end of every turn, we'll do a couple of things. We'll do quite a few things, actually.
Quite a few.
There's actually a whole big book for it.
Yes.
So you'll do things such as resetting the market according to a grid. And so you can see where you are in the game will determine how many of each resources get placed out on the board.
Yep.
We'll also reset the auction house. The most important part, getting your money.
Getting paid.
Yeah. So, part of the joy of being a power plant is you can be a monopoly, right? So you don't really get paid by the citizens, you get paid by the government.
That's how it works.
Depending on how many cities you powered, you'll get money from the government based on that.
The more cities, the more moolah.
Exactly. So you want to power the most cities possible and be most efficient, though.
Right.
Because if you overpower, you don't get paid for that. Mm-hmm. You only get paid for cities that you power.
You need the cities in order to power them.
Exactly. That's how you play Power Grid. There's a lot of minutia into far as step 1, step 2, step 3.
Right.
Those just trigger at certain points of the game, all very clearly laid out in this nice rule book.
Yep.
Person who powers the most cities on the last turn will win the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how much money you have, right?
Doesn't matter how much money you have.
You can power.
Doesn't matter how many cities you powered on the previous turn. It's on the final turn.
Which is very tricky.
Yep,
And
exactly.
extremely frustrating when you lose.
And the last turn is triggered once somebody reaches 15 cities. So once they reach 15 cities in their network, it'll trigger the end of the game. Mm-hmm. You'll finish that turn. That's it.
That's it.
That is it.
So you can be really stealthy and like save your big power bonanza for the end turn.
It's very cutthroat. Mm-hmm. Very cutthroat. I truly enjoy this game.
Yeah.
It is probably one of my more liked light economy games.
Okay.
The economy behind it is good, but it's not the core mechanic
Right.
there.
It's part of the overall.
Yep, exactly. I do like how quickly you go between turns.
Yeah, there's not a lot of downtime, which is nice.
It is thinky. It is very thinky. You can get burned if you don't plan ahead. Mm-hmm. I've seen plenty of times where people get trapped in a corner.
Yep.
Because they either can't afford it, or someone else has bought all the cities around them, so then they get stuck there.
Sure.
And that's a strategy.
And lock them there until that point where they can get out of there.
Exactly.
But it can be tricky.
Exactly. As odd as it sounds, I hate that the power plants are square cards.
Oh, okay. Just from a component perspective?
Yeah, I wish that they could just be traditional trading card size and they would just lay out better, I feel.
Okay, I can see that.
The money's okay. It's paper money.
It's Monopoly money.
Yeah. The base game comes with little cubes for each one of those.
These upgraded components are really cool.
It really brings you into the game.
It does.
The thing that I really like about this game and the series in general is it's so expandable.
Right. There's many expansions.
There's like a dozen.
Yeah.
You count all the different maps. The robot expansion, which lets you play against an AI, basically.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I am not a money guy in real life or in board games, so economy games and games of this nature aren't really my strong suit.
Okay.
I do like how there's very little downtime. Sometimes you get into these big mathematic intensive games and you're like, you gotta wait a long time to go.
Right.
I like how this keeps it moving. I like the friendly looking nature of it. Like the just the big power tubes are really cool looking.
Right. It doesn't look scary.
It doesn't. It's inviting.
Yeah.
Little do you know that an hour and a half into it, you're like, I'm gonna lose, and you just
There's nothing I can do about it.
That's it. Yeah, and that's just from a personal standpoint. That's why I'm not really into these kind of games.
Sure.
But from a presentation of it, I can appreciate it very much.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. It's the art is great.
Yeah.
The art is fantastic. I mean, even I know we talked bad about the very basic wooden components, right? But the art on these cards is just it's wonderful.
I like everything about it.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different variations of the power plants, even within the same family. They all, as they go up in size, they all get something added to them.
And it's all icon based. There's no text.
Right. Yep.
So
So very easy to teach, I think.
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot of stuff happening, but the basic actions you're taking are pretty simple.
Yeah. And I think that's good because there is a lot of rules and moving parts, but at the same time, it's not overly complicated that you can't develop a good strategy and get better at the game.
Right. Chris, what would you give this on Board Game Geek?
My opinion is a 6.5. I don't really care for economy games, but if I had to play one, this one would probably be one I would choose.
Yeah, that's higher than I thought you would have given it.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a 7 for me.
Yeah.
Maybe a 7.5. I think the only barrier to entry here is just the time.
It is a long one.
It doesn't matter if you're playing with 2 or 6.
Sure.
You're going to be spending a decent amount of time with it.
Right.
And when you start talking about that length of game, there's a lot of things that fit into that category.
Right.
So, do you want to play this or do you want to be playing something else?
Correct. And like I mentioned before, sometimes you get in the game, especially if it's in a large amount of players, and you realize, I'm not going to win this one. Like, there comes a point about halfway through where you're like, catching up would be extremely difficult at this point.
Right. Exactly.
And then you're trapped. You're trapped. You can't leave.
I hope that these power outages didn't mess up our access codes.
Me neither. We're going to have to find a new way to power them. I think I have an idea.
Yeah?
I do. It's time to bring out the big guns.
Oh, no.
All right, so let me do. All right, everybody. Make sure you check out our bi-weekly podcast and be sure to like and subscribe down below.
Why don't I have any safety gear?
It'll be fine. I'll just aim it towards you.
And remember,
Good beers.
good games,
Great
times.